The other game on the Alternating Wednesdays is a D&D 3.5 game, and I happen to also be playing a Half Celestial, in this case including Aasimar or however it's pronounced. It's the same with Genasi or Genasi or Ganassi, however it's pronounced. Us Half Celestials like to make the name confusing so that mere humans cannot pronounce our racial names. But I am playing Ravanos Nasora. He is a favored soul of Lathander. I tend to not play the preparatory spellcasters in 3.5, only because I like the versatility of having whatever spells on my spell list spontaneously castable at that time. I think if it was me, I am a little bit OCD, however this is diagnosed. I would not know what spells to prepare for the journey if I was a cleric or a wizard, and I would probably panic for about 10 minutes and waste everyone else's time. That is not to say that I would not try them, but I tend to favor sorcerers and favored souls, and actually my favorite class in 3.5 is the Bard, which in my opinion is the most underutilized class in history of D&D 3.5. Just because of my sarcastic nature, my ability to quickly think on my feet, and the fact that Bards are just plain cool, I do tend to play them most of all. Our story begins a little bit unconventionally, as opposed to what I guess would be considered normal convention for a D&D game. We did not meet in a tavern, actually. Basically, to cut to the story, we were brought together one by one. First, it was our very special cleric named Marlowe, no last name given, and I use special in the special sets. Ran into our shaman, Manali Tower, T-A-U-R, who met up with Baxter Cogsworth, an artificer who has an iron defender named Chauncey. And they kind of ran into me in a town called Surf's End. However, everybody kept calling it Surf's Up, and the name stuck. It was actually a town on the seashore, and S-U-R-F. However, we thought it would be funny if they were referring to poor farm workers, so we've been calling it Surf's Up, S-E-R-F, apostrophe S, instead of Surf's End. But anyway, they ran into me as I was chasing a criminal through the woods. I guess a little bit more about my background. I, as an Aasimar, have taken most of the racial feats in the Forgotten Realms, I believe it's the Races book, to where I have wings. At my current level, we are level 6, I believe. So yes, I have a fly speed that is equal to my land speed, and I tend to use that as my normal means of conveyance. As a favored soul and a worshipper of Lathander, I tried to live up to his ideals, Lathander being a youthful and but impetuous god. I mean, there was a point in his, I guess you would call it a career, that he tried to kind of make the pantheon of gods in his own image. It did not go very well. But, I mean, it was a bad decision, but he thought it was for the best. And did not turn out very well. And Ravanos tends to make those decisions as well, as you will see. Long story short, I was chasing a brigand. I believe he was a slaver. These other people did help me try to capture him, and I got invited along on their quest. They were hired to find a one Kelvin Blackstaff. If that name sounds familiar. He is a very high-end arch wizard based in Waterdeep, who will, in 3.5, it must not have happened yet, he will have a tower named after him in Along the way, we end up acquiring a sorceress by the name of Calban To, who is a half-drow, and a druid named Lendorith, a half-elf druid actually, and he tends to be slightly on the evil side. Yes, he is neutral evil, diametrically opposed to my neutral good. We have very interesting conversations with him. And Marlowe, being the special cleric that he is, attends to attack his familiar, which is a badger. Does not end very well, but usually it doesn't go very well. Anyway, so yes, it is a very fun group. We're currently investigating anti-magic zones. That was a fun trip because most of us are spellcasters. I buffed myself with those spells to be a particularly good combatant. However, if I don't have that, I use this. Same for our sorceress, the druid, obviously, shaman. However, the artificer stuff does work in anti-magic, so it's technically not magic. Go figure. I forgot a character. My apologies to our friend Shmeev. But yes, the aspiring knight protector, Deet. Yes, he was the one that saved us in that anti-magic zone. And then there was a session I missed, because this one does run every Wednesday. Unfortunately, I have other commitments to the 4th edition game, so I can only make it every other Wednesday. But, I mean, like a soap opera, things don't really change too much, and I can get easily caught up. Now, we are, oh, yes, so I guess I had some run-in with some flying dwarves that attacked Waterdeep. And our main contact of finding Blackstaff is disappeared. Our last session, we ended up in a swamp outside of Waterdeep, where a scrying ritual, so generously performed by a person at the semi-ruined keep, said that it was her last appearance. So we go in, and the swamp is apparently an enchanted swamp, as the animals are speaking to us. It was quite unnerving, but eventually, we got around to, hey, where'd she go, and so forth. And we are led by a crocodile to a dragon, who is, I guess, the head of the swamp or whatnot. So we go and we see this dragon, and does not look like any dragon we've ever seen. The long and short of it is, it was an illusion put up by these little furry woodland creatures, whose names escape me at the moment. So there are about, I believe, 10 of them in there, pretending, putting up this illusion that they're a dragon. I finally disbelieved it, and I just stumbled into it, yeah, it was distinctively furry on the inside. Meanwhile, the others were trying to investigate where she had gone. The dragon said she went over to this deeper part of the swamp to get the treasure down there, which it didn't seem particularly interested in, which again caught us off guard. So we had Minali, who is an air genasi, go down because she doesn't need to breathe, so she doesn't have to worry about drowning. She gets down there and sees a giant eye looking at her. We find out it's like a crab, and it looks at her and paralyzes her. So when she does not come up, we get the alarm, and Baxter dives in with a rope attached to Deet to lower him down, try to get her, bring her back up, and see what's going on. Meanwhile, I'm still in the dragon. I actually tried to grapple one of the furry guys to, get rid of the illusion. I missed, who my strength is, not very, and the little furry bastard punched me for 3 points of damage. my reaction was justified at the time. On retrospect, it may have been a little excessive. I decided to cast a Deific Vengeance on it, and I basically told my god Xander to smite the woodland creature that had offended me. So I did enough damage, not to kill it outright, but to send it into negative hit points. But the illusion did fall apart, and the dragon, the little woodland creatures scattered off. But with the one dying creature, Marlowe, again our special cleric, used a cure moderate wounds on it and restored its health, and then proceeded to dance with it. Meanwhile, our artificer got stunned. So yeah, once the rope became a little slack, Deep was getting worried, and Marlowe's like, "Oh, I have a solution," and then kicked him in. Deep. So Deep went down. We find this crab litter. I finally, get caught up on the situation, and I start casting spells to prepare myself for hopefully this creature's eventual rise up, so I can attack him, because I'm not going into the swamp water. I don't want to get there. I have to look pristine. So Deep sinks like a rock because he's wearing plate mail. But he does get... and he has a sword that does non-lethal damage. It is enchanted, it does non-lethal damage. So he basically does enough damage to render it unconscious, and it starts floating to the surface. Meanwhile, they're getting everybody back up. Marlowe's on the other end of the rope at this point. I'm preparing myself, ready to strike this thing that comes up. So it comes up, and I just go, and then, actually kill it. My character is so proud because he thinks he has killed 2 creatures single-handedly, while everyone else decided to go for a swim and dance with the creatures. That was a very fun session. So it was. We're a very fun group. And just a quick side note: our Game Again groups, the D&D 3.5 group, as well as the Cthulhu by Gaslight group, we're all part of a quote page on Facebook where our quote master Alex, who plays Marlowe, as well as J. Hervey Brown in the Cthulhu by Gaslight RPG, basically does record most of our quotes that we all find funny, and we put them up. It's kind of, half of them are you kind of had to be there to understand the context, but it's always good to record stuff like that back in time. So I believe that concludes this episode. It is a little long, so stay tuned to Channel ABO4 for our next episode, where I will be recapping our Scepter Tower D&D 4th Edition group, which will be on this coming Wednesday. I hope to have a recap up, hopefully before Tuesday. As well as, I'd like to get into some more of the obscure card games and board games that I enjoy, and perhaps even some of the Magic stuff. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.